Whoops. Every morning I forget to switch the internet cord. Give me 1 second. Ugh. There you go. Alrighty. Internet cords plugged in. Hopefully no lag issues. Hello everyone, what's going on? And welcome back to another live stream. Good morning. And hope you're having a good morning so far. I got Ronan here hanging out with me. Let's see if Ronan will come say hi. Hi, Ronies. Oh, there's Ronan. No, Ronan's feeling quite cuddly and lovey. He's a good boy. So good morning from Ronan and I. Hope you're having a good time today. Real quick, if you're watching this on the playback, I probably just released a brand new video, depending on the time frame that you are watching this. I have a new video coming out today, actually in 45 minutes. The surprising truth about why Jesus came to Earth, and it's one that I put a lot of time and energy in. I'm testing out this new editing style. A lot of you guys watched my, what's it called, the Halloween video, and you saw like all the memes and the jokes and that kind of stuff. And so this video matches that style. So if you enjoyed the Halloween style, maybe not even the message, because there's a controversy on that, but if you enjoy that style, that video should be live, depending on if you're watching this I would say this, if you're actually watching the playback, that video is ready for you now. It's not actually live at this exact second. At the end of the stream, I'm going to try and go and send a watch party over to that video. The link is in the live chat if you want to check out, or just kind of set the reminder for the premiere. But with that said, it's good to see you guys. Hope you're having a good day so far. Let's hang out. Let's do some questions and answers. I'm gonna fix this microphone real quick. Hopefully you're having a good day. Let's do some questions and answers. If you're first time hanging out, we do live streams, questions and answers about the Bible, about life, about different things like that. And so whatever I can do to kind of bless you and help you in your walk with God and things like that, that's kind of what this channel is all about. So we got a handful of people watching right now. Good to see all you guys. If you're watching this video live, let me know where in the world are you watching from. Comment below, and we'll do a couple shout outs, and we'll do some of that and get going. We got Marthy is from India. We got Joey. What's going on? Hey, Elisa and Lion Crown finally made it to a live stream. Calamar's from Orlando. Kate's from Colorado. AG's from South Africa. And Wayne, what's going on, Wayne? Wayne's a friend from Washington who also runs a YouTube channel as well. Mary from Sweden. We got Beatrice from Rich Grove, California. And Marco from Italy. Super cool. Elisa, Switzerland. Wow. All right. We got a bunch of people. Oh, sorry. You're not in Washington. You're in Oregon. My mistake, Wayne. That's right. So we got a question. Wayne's asking, what are you reading in your personal devotions nowadays? I can show you. Let me grab the book from downstairs. I was just finished my reading this morning. So, the thing that I am presently reading is an old school book written like in the, when was this book written in? 1800s? This book was originally written, oh, it doesn't say. It doesn't say the copyright. Anyway, I think it was written in the 1800s. The book is called The Desire of Ages, and it's like a devotional on the life of Jesus. Incidentally, the video that's going to be premiering in about 40 minutes from now is the summarization of kind of what I've been studying in that first chapter. So I want to do a series where I go through the life of Jesus and share with you guys kind of the things that I'm learning throughout the stories and stuff like that. So that video is going to be all about it. So if you kind of want to get an idea of what I'm studying in my devotions, what I'm thinking about, what I'm learning for myself, the premiere for today's video is all about that. Does your wife read her own devotion, and how do devotions help? Yeah, my wife does her own devotions. We actually don't do family worship super frequently. We do family worship maybe once a week, if I'm honest. We just have different schedules. She has to go to work early in the morning. I tend to work more towards the afternoon and evening. we haven't quite gone to a routine where we're doing it together frequently. But she does her own stuff. Yeah. Do I use any software and or apps for Bible devotions and study? Yeah, absolutely. So the app that I typically use is this one on my computer. This one's called Bible Study app. It's like literally Bible Study app. There's like multiple versions in it. I can search for phrases. There's like random concordances that are built in. So that's kind of one that I use. If I'm wanting to do something a little bit more robust, like a deeper study that takes, a little bit more time as opposed to like a devotion, because I think that there's actually a difference between Bible study and devotions. I think devotions are a lot more reflective, personal application. It's a little bit different. Bible study is like really trying to get at the core of the text and to properly exegete it. So to me, they kind of have two different categories. What do I use for those kinds of studies? I use a Bible software called Logos, LOGOS.com. This is their website. Now, just a heads up, this Bible study app is pretty expensive. It's like several $100s. This is not a sponsored post. Someone just asked what kind of Bible study app I use. So I use Logos every once in a while. But most of the time I just use a standard regular Bible app. I don't really use like the in-depth study stuff super frequently. Yeah. Bible Flockbox is in the house. What's going on, buddy? What streaming software am I currently using? I am currently using OBS. The chat overlay right here is something from Streamlabs, which is pretty cool as well. So that's kind of what I'm using mostly for stream. So I was inspired by something you told me in one of the last streams, Bible Flockbox, was, the camera's autofocus is off and all that kind of stuff. So as of recently, I've upgraded my stream setting to, let me show you, I'm going to get so that's what you see. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus there. So, that's actually my mirrorless camera as my webcam. So there's a cord right here. Oh, can you see my hand? Yeah, that attaches from here into the back of my computer, and that way I can get like the nice bokeh effect and all that kind of stuff. It is a nice camera. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's the camera that I have been using for YouTube videos. I just figured out how to pair that into the live stream as well. What program do I use for editing? Man, a lot of people want to know kind of about technology today. This is kind of cool. What program do I use for editing? I pretty much use Final Cut Pro, and that's it. I've tried Premiere a handful of times, but Premiere to me is fairly complicated, and so I've been working with Final Cut Pro pretty much. The bokeh effect looks nice. Thanks, bud. Let's see here. Is being saved and sanctified the same thing? So there are several words that are used when it comes to the conversation around salvation. There's justification, there's sanctification, and there's glorification. There's kind of three different approaches to salvation. Justification is this idea. Think about when you first give your heart to the Lord and you finally just say, God, I want to live for you. You're justified. It's the way that I was taught it. It's kind of corny. Justification is where you're made. It's just as if I had never sinned. Justification, just as if I had never sinned. So it's basically you're forgiven for your past. You're cleansed from your sins. But the problem is that we all continue sinning from that point. So even though your past is forgiven, you're justified, you're forgiven, right? What happens in the interim? And so after you're saved, and as you're continuing to live your Christian experience, there's this process that's called sanctification. And that's the process that takes place over the course of your entire life. And it's the process upon which God basically makes you holy. And this is the process where God imbues you with his spirit and gives you grace that not only cleanses you, as in justification, but the grace that also empowers you to live a holy life that enables you to overcome sin and to become more Christ-like and to display the fruits of the Spirit. So the first stage is justification. Second stage is sanctification. Then the third and final stage is called glorification. And that's when we are made new. That's after the second coming of Christ. We get new bodies, we get new natures, etc., etc. And now we are basically perfect. And so that's glorification. And so are they the same thing? It depends. It's kind of like a spectrum, a progression, if you will, of what God does as someone is being saved. Yeah. There you go. Bible Flockbox says that he'll have a video on repentance coming up in the next 6 hours. You guys can check him out. He does some pretty cool videos there too. Let's see. I keep debating on purchasing Logos. It's been tons of resources and the software seems to make it relatively easy to tie it all together. But for now, I've been using the free version. Yeah, I used the free version for a while. And then they had one, I think the lowest package is like $300 or something like that, which is a lot of money for most of us. I ended up getting it because I really value concordances. Out of all the functionalities on Logos that I use the most, it's the concordance function. Like the word studies and things like that. Like you can find that online for free in other places, like through Strong Concordance and stuff like that. And you know, like it's cool, but I just feel like having access to like 15 or 20 or 25 different concordances all on one resource to me is pretty amazing. Virgelis says, for anyone having trouble with constantly reading the Bible, something the Holy Spirit has put on my heart is to read the Bible when you're physically hungry, read it before you eat and meditate on it, then eat. Yeah, that's basically the principle of fasting. I mean, that's a very common practice. So I think it's cool that you've stumbled across this. This is something that Christians have been doing for years and years and years, decades, millennia even. But yeah, totally, really good. Wayne says, I've been using Logos on my iPad, beats carrying around a bunch of concordances and other study tools. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I was reaching out to a friend of mine that works for Logos. I was trying to see if they'd be interested in doing any sponsored posts on my channel. Maybe doing like a how to study the Bible series using Logos as a resource or something like that. And so I'm trying to see if they'll do some sponsored posts, try and earn a little bit of income through this thing called YouTube, and also display their app or whatever the case is. But I don't know that I have any answers from them yet, so we'll see. But maybe that'll be cool. Maybe they'll do some sponsored posts and even sponsor like a handful of giveaways where I could like give away Logos to a handful of you guys for free. Like that would be dope, because then you guys get like a couple $100 piece of software for free. So I'll be working on that. Like you guys know that I'm not shy about doing sponsored posts. Like I do this as my full-time job and I'm trying to make a living doing it. And sometimes sponsored posts and ads are really, really helpful in making that happen. So, but yeah. Oh, speaking of sponsored, this episode is sponsored by my patrons. And so if you're a patron and you support this channel, thank you very much. I have this goal of trying to get to 100 patrons. I'm at like almost 80 patrons. I want to get to 100 patrons before the end of the year if possible. So if any of you guys are considering becoming patrons, hit me up, let me know, patreon.com/thatchristianvlogger. Yeah, it can be really tough to get sponsored for Christian channels. Like if you do tech review, if you do beauty videos, comedy, like it's pretty easy because you can sponsor anything. But you know, a lot of the kinds of things that people make out there and sell in the market, they don't necessarily always want it to be associated with religion or something. So if any of you guys would like to join and be a patron, that'd be awesome. Oh, awesome. Hey, speaking of awesome people and supporting the channel, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. Savannah, Louie, and Braden in the house. Thank you very much, guys. You guys are awesome. Braden and Savannah are some really awesome friends of mine. They also run a YouTube channel and they're like super cool people. We've done several collabs, as you guys know, with their channel. I've been a long time, and I'm very proud of this too, I've been a long time subscriber of Savannah and Braden since like the very beginning of their channel, and I'm a patron of their channel, so I would definitely encourage you guys to support Savannah's channel and Braden. What they do there is awesome. They're super cool people. If you have to choose between sponsoring us on Patreon, Emily and myself, or them, go and sponsor them. Like I believe in what they're doing. I think that they're doing some awesome stuff. I would encourage you to sponsor them for sure. Beatrice, have you been to a Christian concert lately? If you have, who did you go see? You know, funny you ask, because Hillsong is actually in town tonight. In Portland, Hillsong is in town, and I wanted to go, but the concert was sold out when we finally thought about purchasing tickets. Like we went this week to the website to try and purchase tickets, and unfortunately they were sold out. So I could have said Hillsong would be my next concert. The only concert I've actually ever really gone to wasn't even really the concert. I went for a church conference event, and Elevation Worship played live, and that was awesome. That was super cool. Really enjoyed that experience quite a bit. Same thing happened to you with Hillsong. It was so sad. Yeah, sorry. Have I ever been to Israel? No, I haven't been to Israel. I would love to go to Israel. I've been to like Rome and a lot of places where like the early church started, like a lot of that kind of stuff. But I've never been to Israel. Israel would definitely be something that I would be interested in. So if any of you guys have connections in Israel, or like do church in Israel or something, and have people that would like to do an invite or something along those lines, like hit me up. Like I would love to come out that way. That'd be super cool. Oh, we got the $14.99 super chat from Savannah and Braden again. Thank you very much, guys. You guys are so generous. Appreciate that, man. Super awesome. I'm trying to think of what else can I say about Savannah and Braden that's true and genuine. What can I say? Oh, I'll say this. Braden has got some dope hair, man. So, you know, many of you guys who've been watching my channel for a while know that last year, right around this time, I did the whole man bun thing and I grew up my hair nice and long. I did notice, Braden, that you were growing your hair out around the same time, that we were both in the man bun stage at the same time. And now Braden has continued to grow his hair, whereas I've cut my hair short and just got a haircut like last week. Braden's hair is still quite long, and his hair is like nice, like super nice flowing locks of hair, and it's pretty cool. As we were hanging out in Ohio a while back, I kept admiring his hair when we were hanging out. Lee, I'm sorry. With that kind of a comment, you are getting put in a timeout. I don't accept that kind of comments or anything else like that. Do it again and you'll just be banned from the channel. Not cool. I'm open to people disagreeing. I'm open to that kind of stuff, but hate comments and the like, not gonna put up with at all. So you're timed out for 5 minutes. Do it again, you're banned. Xenomorph, here's an interesting question. I have one question I've been wondering for a while. Is it possible to sin in a lucid dream? I don't know. Like, that's something that I've wrestled with as well, because every once in a while, especially if you're a man and you're a young man at that, like in the high school, college time, hormones are going crazy, your body is changing, and we've all had those kinds of like dreams that we're not proud of, right? I don't have a verse for this, and if anyone has a verse that you could add to this, let me know. But my inclination is that sin is something that you actively do. Actually, you know what? Here, I do have a verse that I think could be relevant for this. James chapter 4. James 4 verse 17 says, "So whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin." One of the principles that I think is super important is that sin is basically a conscious decision. Sin is something that you know the right course, you have the ability to do it, and you choose to not do it. That's what sin at its core is. It's a choice to act, to live against, and to live contrary to the will of God. In a dream, you don't have control over your dream. And so my inclination is to say, I don't feel that what happens in a dream, you are responsible for morally. So I would lean to saying no. Of course, you know, when you wake up, there's that feeling of guilt. And it's just, I don't know. I've always tried to use those moments of inappropriate dreams to redirect me back towards the Lord, to kind of remind me of my fallenness, which is not necessarily a bad thing to be reminded about, because we're all fallen. We all have fallen short of the glory of God, right? I use that as an opportunity to say, you know what? I need Jesus today. And I use that as a reminder. And so what, like, you know, there's that phrase, whatever the devil meant for evil, God uses it for good. Like, that's kind of how I try and approach those types of dreams. Bible Flockbox says, you're not in control of your dreams, but God only holds you accountable of what you can control. So I wouldn't worry about it. Yeah, that's more or less what I would say. Oh, good clarification. Lucid dreaming is when you are aware of what you're doing. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I was thinking lucid in a different perspective. I was thinking lucid as in those kind of scandalous kind of dreams. I don't know about that. I've had experiences with lucid dreams once or twice in my life. You know, you're like dreaming and then you're like, oh, this is a dream. This is kind of cool, which means I can fly, and then you jump and then you fly, that kind of thing. So if you're choosing to do it in a dream, then I would maybe lend towards yeah, because you're kind of choosing to do it. That might be something. And someone mentioned, Mercy mentioned, isn't lucid dreaming from God? I thought it was a new age thing. Yeah, if you're trying to like initiate lucid dreaming on your own, I think there's reason to believe that that's maybe something that we as Christians should be careful of and weary of. But if you just happen to find yourself in a dream, like as I described before, I don't know that that's quite the same thing. What is your favorite YouTube channel to watch? My favorite YouTube channel to watch. Let's see. Who do I like to watch? I end up watching, honestly, it's kind of funny. I watch a lot of like video game streamers because I really enjoy that kind of stuff. I enjoy certain like interview channels, like First We Feast is pretty good. Let's see. Who else is on my page right now that I've been enjoying lately? I enjoy like a lot of personal development channels, whether that's like personal growth or business or leadership development, those kinds of things. I enjoy those kinds of channels. Sean Cannell is really good. Video Creators is pretty awesome. I watch a lot of photography stuff, videography stuff, a lot of geeky, nerdy kind of stuff. Vlogbrothers is really awesome. Who else? I mean, obviously like Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, those kinds of things. I mean, I tend to follow those kinds of channels a lot. What's your take on ASMR? Is it wrong for a Christian to mock ASMR? I don't know enough about it. To me, it's just weird. Like, why do people want to hear that kind of a thing? I don't know enough about it. John Jorgensen. Yeah, John Jorgensen for sure is a really great channel. He's a good friend of mine as well. Have you ever seen Cam and Jeff? I've never watched Cam and Jeff. Never heard of them, actually. Sean is the man. Tim Schmoyer from Video Creators used to be a youth pastor. Yeah, Sean also used to be a youth pastor as well in Las Vegas. Yeah. How do you know, Maribel's asking, if God is calling you to something? Have thought about photography, authorship, children's ministry lately, but don't know which God is leading me to. Any advice? Good question, Maribel. That's something that I think that you learn over time. I don't know that there's ever really a moment where it's like you have zero clue, then all of a sudden, boom, like you know immediately everything that God wants you to do. It's kind of this thing that you have to always be connected to the Lord, and He guides you day by day. Paul and Morgan's also another really good channel. Good suggestions. Thanks, guys, for giving me the shout outs. These are all friends of mine, so I feel bad if I forget to leave any of if I forget any of them and leave one of them out. There's something that I heard in a video recently. Thanks for the subscription, Briggy. Something that I learned recently from actually a talk show from, what's his name? You guys were there in the live stream a couple days ago or a week ago. What was the guy's name? Steve Harvey, incidentally enough. He was talking about how he knew his calling was comedy. He said, the thing that you do best with the least amount of effort is probably what you were created to do. And I actually really find that to be fairly true in my life. The thing that I do best with the least amount of effort, tends to be oftentimes is thinking out of the box, is teaching, helping to communicate, things along those lines. And so YouTube tends to be a natural fit for me. So that's kind of, that's one of the ways to look at it. And I think it's a good place to start. My uncle is a pastor in New York, and he takes a group of people to Israel, Greece every year. That's very cool. Unfortunately, I don't have the what's called the financial ability to travel to Greece on my own, which you would never get because I tend to travel a lot. If you follow me on on Instagram and Twitter or Facebook, I'm traveling all the time. Like literally this Sunday, I go to Tennessee, and then on Thursday next week, I'll go to Hawaii for 10 days. But all of those are work trips. Like I'm not actually paying to go. I'm going because I'm working and speaking for conferences or churches or doing video work for a business or something like that. So, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of spare money to just travel. Yeah, Roque, most of the vloggers I watch happen to be Mormon, like Ellie and Jared. Although I don't share their beliefs, I like their family-oriented videos. Yeah, the Mormons are just really kicking butt when it comes to social media. Like I feel like there's a lot that we need to catch up on because they're really doing a great job. Hey, real quick, I wanted to give a shout out as well. Don't leave this live chat because in about 20 minutes, we're going to be premiering my new video coming out today, putting it a link in the live chat. This is our video for today that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. I put a good amount of effort into the edit and all that kind of good stuff. So hang out, help us promote this video, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with some friends on social if you don't mind. I'm liking my own video because that's kind of what you got to do on social media. We're going to be watching this video together. I'd be really interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on this video. So stick around. We're going to get that. That's going to premiere at 9:45 Pacific Standard Time in 18 minutes. So hang out for a little bit. We're going to watch that video together. Maribel is asking, how did you come up with your logo? That logo was actually something I had a friend help me with. So I actually am not very skilled when it comes to graphics and those kinds of things. My friend Eric is like a graphic designer and a really, really talented individual. And I hired him to create my logo. So I paid him and he helped create it. And I'm very happy with how it turned out. Sabrina, how important is community within Christianity? Community is super important within Christianity. You know, a lot of times we talk about church as super important. I do think that church is, it is important, but church isn't the only way that we can get community. And the reality is, if I had to choose community over church, I would actually choose community every time. Church is valuable in that it provides community. Sometimes churches don't provide community very effectively. And in those instances, like that's really unfortunate. Consider this. Here's a couple of verses to get us rolling on this idea of community. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2. And let's go to verse, I think it's 18. Then the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make a helper for him." Now, obviously, the most immediate application of this text is Adam and Eve. You know, he's creating a spouse for him. But I think that this is just true of human nature in general. You know, we do not thrive when we're alone. I think back in like the World War I or II era, some like scientists ran an experiment. It's really a horrible experience and it's terrible, where they had children that were born and they ran an experiment where they literally never touched the child. The child never got to experience human to human interaction. They would feed it and all that kind of stuff, but they wouldn't like actually interact with the child. Well, the child in a short amount of time ended up passing away because there's something about humanity that we need people. We need community. And I think that that is super important. There's another verse. I'm trying to find the one. Do not neglect the assembly. What is that verse? Hebrews 10. Another verse to consider on that subject of community is, why are you doing this? Hebrews 10. Another verse, Hebrews chapter 10, and let's go to verse 25. Okay, so or verse 24. It says, "Let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. In other words, a lot of people, even back in the New Testament times, had this habit of saying, oh, I don't need community. I don't need the church. I don't need to meet together with other people. And Paul's like, no, like, don't do that. Don't get in that habit. Instead, get in the habit of meeting together. Get in the habit of finding community, because that's important. People need people. Spread the love, for sure. No man is an island, for sure. How do you handle mental illness, i.e. schizophrenia and major depression? Susan asks. I've never had experience with schizophrenia. I have had experience with depression, and my perspective on handling depression really comes down to finding a competent and helpful counselor. So attending regularly, I think I went like every week for several months. I met with a Christian counselor, and that was probably one of the most important things that helped me with my challenges with mental illnesses. So that's definitely what I would say. How do you share the gospel in your everyday life, and is spiritual death biblical? I try to share the gospel in my everyday life through my YouTube channel. I guess that's more for me. How do you do it? I think that's different for you. Every person is given different skills and talents by God. So that's really entirely dependent on you. I don't know the answer to that question for you. How do you decide what you should do with your life, what to do when you grow up? I kind of answered that question already earlier, and I've done several videos on that. You can check that out. Are you Asian? Sorry, don't mean to offend you. I'm not offended. I am Asian. I am Filipino and Chinese. Mary, is it okay to watch horror movies or play computer games with violent content? I think it depends. And I think some people are surprised that I don't just immediately say no. It is not okay. But the reality is like there's a lot of violent things that are out there in the world. The news could be violent. Videos could be violent. Books could be violent. Heck, even the Bible is pretty violent in certain parts. So I don't think that violence is necessarily evil. I think the unnecessary glorification of violence and gore probably isn't ideal. So I think that it takes being in tune with the Spirit in your own life and knowing what does God tell you. And I don't think it's just a blanket yes or no statements across the board. Darlene, how do you reach out to Catholics without offending them? Same way you would reach out to anybody, by becoming their friend and winning their trust and just being overall a decent human being. When it comes to gaming, I think it depends if you're addicted and have mental health issues. Or okay, saying, yeah, I think that's very valuable. I read an article saying that blood from cuts and bruises can summon demons, and autism is damage caused by a demon. Is that possible? I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Raquel, do you have advice for teenagers on how to share the gospel with their peers? From a fellow Pinoy. If it's your friend, just ask questions. Like I feel like so many times we think about sharing our faith as like, oh, I have to come up with this really great speech or this script. I have to have this sermon that I'm going to say, and I'm going to talk for 5 minutes. I'm going to talk for 25 minutes. Just go, and then at the end of it, they're going to respond and say yes or no. Like I just don't buy into that. Just have a conversation with people. Like it doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be weird. Just have a conversation. Ask them questions that are relevant to their life and faith and stuff like that. Mad Love in the chat. What's up? What's up? He says, what it do? How's it going, Daniel? Good morning, buddy. Hope you're having a good day. Quick shout out again, guys. Just kind of promoting the next video coming up. It's in the live chat. We're premiering this new video in now, what is it, 10 minutes from now. So in about 7 minutes, I'm going to shut down the live stream. We'll do a couple more questions and answers, but in about 7 minutes, shut down the live stream. We're going to all head over to the premiere page, and if I can get your help, promoting this video, liking it, sharing it. I really would love to hear you guys' interaction and thoughts on this video. I think it should be pretty fun. I try to include some fun clips and things like that, kind of like my Halloween video. So I think that you guys will enjoy it. Okay, so I'm getting a bunch of individual questions about how to share your faith to a Muslim, how to share your faith to a Catholic, how to share your faith to a friend. Guys, literally, it's the exact same answer for all of them. Like, it's not different for any individual person. Just because you're black, just because you're short, just because you're skinny, just because you speak Spanish, just because you're Muslim, like, it literally does not matter. Humanity is humanity. Everyone are people. Like, it's no different. Treat people like human beings. Treat them with compassion. Treat them with love. Treat them the way that you would want to be treated. And build a relationship with them, build a friendship with them, and over time, God will give you opportunities to share your faith with them. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science. You just got to do it. You just actually have to give it a shot. Try it, and obviously you'll learn as you go. Obviously you'll get experience as you do it, but like literally, it's not rocket science. You just got to have a conversation with someone. Don't preach to them. Don't yell at them. Don't condemn them. Don't judge them. Just love them and be a decent human being. Okay? That makes sense? That's my view on it. Ashley, is spiritual death biblical? I don't know what you mean by spiritual death. It depends on what you mean by that. So maybe a little bit more clarification on that. Why is the Catholic way of viewing human sexuality different from the Christian church? I don't know. There's a lot of things Catholics do that are different and weird, and I don't understand, and I don't think that they're really, really biblical. I think there's a lot in the Catholic Church that's just kind of weird and based on tradition and weird, antiquated rules. Overall, I just generally reject those kinds of things. I disagree with a lot when it comes to Catholicism. Jay Kyler says it well, invest. That gives you a platform to speak. Yeah. So many times as Christians, we feel like, oh, we're gonna try and witness to people we've never met, and just kind of like, if they don't respond well, that's because they're degenerates and because they don't love the Lord and whatever the case is. Like, no. Like, if some random person on the street came up to you and gave you advice on life and told you that you were stupid and doing dumb things or whatever, would you even pay attention? No. Invest in people's lives, invest in their relationships, give them a reason to care about what you think, and do so in a love. So that's kind of the way that I look at it. Killing is a sin, so does it make it okay if you're fighting in a war or protecting yourself? Bubby is asking. Great question, Bubby. So the commandment in Exodus chapter 20, let's actually pull that up. Exodus chapter 20. You guys all know the commandment, you shall not murder. So in certain translations, it says murder. In the King James, it says thou shalt not kill. There's a difference between murder and killing. Murder is really actually like an unprovoked, unjustified killing. So it's different. If it was just killing broadly, generally speaking, then in order to be consistent, you would also have to be vegetarian. You'd have to really resort to Jainism, which is like an Eastern religion, if I'm understanding it correctly, where like they won't even kill mosquitoes or flies or anything else like that because they believe all life is sacred. But that's not what the commandment is actually teaching. It says thou shalt not murder, which means there shouldn't be any unjustified killing. So in my opinion, my understanding of this text is that self-defense is okay. In fact, the Bible talks about that many times, where it's okay to defend yourself. So if you're being attacked, someone intrudes in your house, and in order to save your family or save your life, you have to kill someone. Like, I think that that is actually justified in the text. Yeah, Mad Love says murder and killing are different. Mary asks, why do Christians prefer Jews before Muslims? I don't know that that's always universally the case. I think maybe perhaps because the media has painted Muslims as terrorists, which obviously is not the case. It's only a very small percentage of Muslims that are terrorists. In the same way, there's a very small percentage of Christians that are terrorists. And I'm sure the same thing can be said for Jews. So maybe it's just prejudice. Maybe it's because we're ignorant and we don't actually get to know people on an individual level, and we don't actually have relationships with Muslim people. I think if you had a best friend who's Muslim, you wouldn't really have prejudice against Muslims. So it just depends on who you expose yourself to, who are your friends. Bum, 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 bum. Christotaku, why weren't we all created like Adam rather than being born into sin? That's such a good question. I'm looking at the time. I don't have enough time to answer that because in a 1 minute, I'm trying to transition over to the premiere of the video. Shout out to that premiere of the video. I'll put the link in the live chat again. That's a great question. Do me a favor, come back tomorrow for our live chat, and I want to talk about that because I feel like I have something to say about that. I've been thinking about that in the last couple of months a little bit more, and I think that I want to share a little bit about that, but I don't want to like try and rush that answer. So with that said, guys, hey, premiere for the new videos coming up in 4 minutes. Do me a favor, guys. Let's migrate over to the premiere page of this. And if you could do me a huge favor, like the video already, it actually helps. Like, liking isn't just a vanity metric. Like, YouTube literally will show the video to more people the more likes or dislikes. If you dislike the video, you can dislike it too. Like, that's fine, I don't care. But the more people engage with the videos, the more likely YouTube is to share that video in suggested or something else like that with somebody else. So do me a favor, guys, please head on over to the page. I just put the link in the chat. Like the video, share it on social. If you tweet it out, I'll retweet your stuff. And if you're watching it, like, and something stands out to you, take a screenshot of it, post it on an Instagram story or an Instagram, and I'll repost any stories, retweet any tweets on this video if any of you guys want to do that. It just helps get the word out there. And yeah, so do me a favor, help me make this, promote this video, get it out there, and let's all head on over there. I'm going to shut down the live stream, and we'll hang out over at the premiere page. If you have questions, we can go and do answers at the premiere page, type in questions and things like that. We got 8 likes on this video. We got, what, 48 people in the live stream right now. So if we can help get the likes to over 50 before the video starts, that would be absolutely incredible. So if you can go over there, help me out, promote that video, and we can all watch it together, and I'll hang out and answer questions about this video in case any of you guys want to respond to the video, you want to ask a question about it. We'll go do that right now. Video is going live in 2 minutes, so I'll see you guys over there right now. Live stream's over. See you guys, and by the way, tomorrow's live stream is at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, we'll see you guys. Bye.